This week on American Grindstone, we sit down with Tactical Grandma, aka Michelle Statham, and her husband slash momager, Sean Statham, as we talk about going from Taco Bell manager, full-time grandma, and bus driver to professional gamer in just a couple of years with millions of followers on her streams. Now this 58-year-old grandma is going to have something to teach us and maybe a little forehead kiss to end the show on. So check it out. Let's talk to Tactical Grandma.
The Grindstone.
My sonny boy kept his nose to the grindstone.
Never give up, never surrender.
All right. Hey, we're here with Tactical Grandma and Tactical Grandpa.
Yeah.
Michelle and Sean Statham.
Sean.
Yeah.
And is that what you go by, Tactical Grandpa?
No.
Not necessarily. She calls me her momager.
Ooh,
He's my
good.
momager.
I'm not sure I like
But
it.
not like the
I
dance
love it.
mom's momager. He's
No.
nicer than them.
He's like a more civilized.
Yes.
Doesn't have the high and lofty
He doesn't
goals.
make me cry and go dance.
Okay, that's good.
It's good.
And you don't cry to play video games either, I bet.
Mostly not. No, I
Okay.
don't.
I respect that. A little bit of crying's okay. You're human, right?
I don't like losing.
He makes you fulfill all of his dreams.
She doesn't like losing. We could talk about that in the podcast as well.
We're gonna get there. Michelle, you are a bit of an anomaly. You are.
I'm a unicorn.
You are a unicorn.
Narwhal.
You
narwhal.
Are a narwhal. You are the first gamer I've ever streamed repeatedly. I watch you at least once a week, if not multiple
well,
times.
thanks.
Because I'm highly entertained by you.
Well, that's good.
You have been. How long have you been doing this now professionally?
Just over 4 years. I started October 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get to how that happened, but you grew up before video games, and you started playing. What was the first video game you started playing?
Pong.
Pong.
I was 7. 51 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
So
And
the
so-
first
old.
video game you've ever played is the first video game.
Yes.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I mean,
That's
I
the
grew
one
up
where-
with video games.
Yeah.
It's the one where the little paddles go back
Yes.
and forth.
Bloop, bloop,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bloop.
that's right.
bloop, bloop.
That was amazing. So that was an arcade game at the time.
No, it was at home.
Oh, that was a home.
Yeah, it was. See, I remember it being separate from Atari. I remember it being its own thing that we had, and then we got an Atari later.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the same for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 51 years ago. So that would have been. What year did Pong come out?
1972.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
born in 65.
Okay. So in 1972, people are having VCRs and Betamaxes in their house, and that's a big
I don't
deal.
know that we had a.
No, not yet.
I don't think we had a
They're
VCR
not-
yet in
they're not doing
72.
VCRs at that point?
No.
Not yet.
No, it's like 8 tracks and stuff.
We had
Yeah.
8 tracks. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the Pong game was a console size.
Okay.
For just Pong.
Just the one
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Yeah.
I think it was Pong was the kind of the golden age of the arcade games. It was the start of that,
It was
right?
the
Yeah.
beginning,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
the beginning of console making, really.
Yeah.
Because of that first Pong game. The
That's
at-home
right.
one.
And analog type connections
Yeah.
for the 2 screws in the back of the TV.
Yes.
And it was only
Yes.
black and white. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was color.
So
That's
were
right.
you super
But it was
wealthy
cutting
growing up,
edge.
being a
No.
Pong family? Tell me about your childhood a little bit.
No, both my parents worked. We were, I'm the Gen X generation, right? We're the latchkey kids, the best generation.
She said it. She's claimed it now. You've heard her.
The Gen Xers. No, my parents both had to work for us to have income. We lived with my grandparents because we didn't have a lot of money, just to save money. And but my mom is interesting. She liked video games as they came out too.
Okay.
So it was like we would play as a family. So she was intrigued by them as well.
That's really rad.
Yeah, yeah.
So family endeavor.
Yeah, yep. So after Pong, then Atari, we got Atari 2600.
Yeah.
And on Sundays, for a while, we had to play cards, and we hated that. But my brother and I hated playing cards. My mom's pretty competitive. So then we would then we had Atari, so we would sit around on Sunday afternoons and have like family game time where it'd be like only 2 people could play at a time, but we would just take turns in different games like crackpots. We had, which was one of her favorites, which is like spiders crawling up a wall and you drop pots on them to keep them from coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
What
fun.
a name.
And then I think we had just a lot of different games like that kind. And we would just take turns and play, and she loved them just as much as us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my dad too.
Yeah. So let's look at pre-2000. What was your favorite console at the pre-2000s in like game that you played?
Well, I'd have to say my favorite console, it wasn't what I was using at that time, probably would have been like the Nintendo 64, just because I think that was the first console we got together. Was Nintendo 64, and it was like we moved up here. My parents and all my family lived in California, so we had no family here. We had 3 kids. We didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
We got that for our 10th wedding anniversary. My parents bought that for us. And so we would put our kids to bed, and that was our date nights. We'd play video games, and it was kind of what my kids grew up with, right? They kind of started playing games with us. My son loved playing video games. The girls liked it, certain games, but our son liked the same ones we liked, which was eventually shooters and stuff.
GoldenEye.
Yes, GoldenEye was the
GoldenEye.
first
That's
person
right.
shooter I ever played, and that's where I fell in love with first person shooters was with GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And so from playing that, I was like, anytime a first person shooter came out, we'd want to try it to see do we like it. And till Call of Duty came out, and it was like,
That's right.
Yeah.
now every Call of Duty we've played for
You found
20
your
years.
home there.
Yeah.
Did you play like Halo and Doom?
We did play Halo. So back in the day when they had the Xbox, so you could take 4 Xboxes and LAN them together.
Oh yeah.
So we would have
Those were the days.
us, our son, and then the youth group leaders we worked with, and then a bunch of the kids. We'd all come over to we had a whole building with a loft, and we'd put the 4 TVs up, 4 monitors, 4 people in each, Xbox playing. We'd play COD, we'd play Halo, which I didn't like to play as much because they all could beat me so much. I could hold my own in COD with them, but Halo, the whole different layers and stuff like that. But just getting that community of having like 16 people in a room, just getting to play a game, like there was nothing
It was
like
so
that.
much fun. We'd have Doritos, and you could die in the game and then hit someone with a Dorito that just shot you in the game. So
I didn't
you
throw
could bring
food.
No, I threw food.
Like little
That was your role.
Yeah.
little
That's
salty
who you are.
throwing stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Typically, I
Delicious.
was the only female. I think Elise would be in there some, but I was pretty much the only female that was playing most of the time.
That's right.
I did that one time with my friend David Rucker. He had a birthday party, and we did like a
From
whole
Blaine? David Rucker
David
from
Rucker.
Blaine?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the Ruckers. And so it was like this whole like bracketed like thing. It went all night long up until the next morning, and I'm happy I experienced that at least once in my life.
Yeah.
Because like now you can't even do co-op play.
No.
So it's like
They put everything online.
I know it broke my heart when that happened because I like the person right next to me.
It broke our heart because we lived out in the county and had no internet. We had satellite internet. You can't game on satellite internet.
Yeah.
So once that went away, we were like, this is like, we can't really play most of these games. And then we ended up buying another Xbox and another monitor, and we'd go to a friend's office. Like we would put the oldest was old enough to watch the kids. So
Cool.
at that point, so we would just go to this office. And that was our date night. Go play Call of Duty
That's right.
online
Oh, wow.
on borrowed internet because we didn't have it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the
Yeah.
first girl I ever met that played video games. So when
I haven't met one yet. I'll just like,
when I met her like late 1986, and we started talking and discovered that we both like video games, and I was just blown away. Then I took her to the arcade on like an early date, and not only did she like them, but she was amazing at them, which even blew me away more.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to marry this one. Then we competed our whole marriage.
Yeah.
We've always competed at video games.
A lot of
So-
sports games too.
yeah.
Yeah, FIFA,
Madden,
Madden, hockey.
Who wins the most?
Tiger Woods. Didn't matter what it was, really.
Who was good at Madden?
Okay, so there was once a thrown and broken controller because somebody was angry, and it wasn't her. And that was when she beat me at Madden.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it's fine that she could beat me at all the other games, but Madden is my jam. That's my game. Although she probably knows as much about football as anybody I've ever met, so it's not really an advantage for me, being a football guy, because she's into football just as much. So, yeah, it was humbling, and I just needed to deal with it, and so I got used to losing at lots of games.
He just didn't like that I didn't call like plays
Yeah.
that normal people would call.
Yes.
I mean, was like I
Like 3rd and 9, I would call a running play because I'm like, for sure she thinks I'm going to pass. And she would call a running defense. And I'm like, why'd you call a running defense? She goes, I just thought you were going to run it. I'm like, so that's the other problem is no one knows you like your spouse knows you,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's like she would know what I was
Technically,
thinking.
there was defenses that worked for both runs and passes. I just didn't tell you that.
Yeah. This is a painful part of this whole interview. So
You were
no.
dethroned. That hurts. It hurts. It's a shot to the
yeah,
ego.
I still
Yeah.
have PTSD.
Yeah.
My son's friends didn't like it either.
I bet that's pretty amazing.
Oh, there's a great story in there, by the way.
Yeah?
If you want to hear it.
Oh, please
Of course
do.
we do.
Please do.
That's what we're here for.
Although, if anybody from Blaine High School sees this, so our son, their senior year of football season at Blaine, they wanted to have a preseason bonding team thing, and they decided to have a Madden tournament, and they were looking for somewhere to hold that, and my son was like, "Hey, we could have it at my house." My mom plays, my dad plays, and they were like, "Yeah, let's have it at your house. Invite your mom to play if she wants." So she went out to play in their tournament and, of course, won the tournament. So all these poor guys show up to the first day of school because this tournament took place right before school started. And everybody's like, "What happened in the tournament?" And guys are like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about it."
There was a ringer there.
Yeah.
It took all of our
Hey.
money.
Yeah, nobody wanted to talk about the fact that the mom had won it. So then they wanted to have it again at the end of the year, at the end of the football season, and they said, "Hey, can we have it at your house? But this time, can we
Wasn't
not
invited.
have your mom play?"
That's
So
kind of
How does that feel to be uninvited to your own house party?
Actually, I was like,
yeah, totally.
I know why you didn't invite me because I beat you.
Amazing.
that was the beginning. Little did we know Tactical Grandma was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're, a highly competitive person. You grew up with video games as a social, medium for everybody. So it makes sense that this kind of
Yeah.
is the place that you find yourself.
Yeah.
2019, you got 3 kids. What happens?
So, well, I have arthritis in my hands. So, like, even just moving them like that hurts. So I couldn't use a controller anymore. So he was like, well, we'll get you a PC and you can just learn mouse and keyboard so you can still game.
Yeah.
And prior to this, I should preface, my son tried to get me to watch streamers. He's like, you should go on Twitch and watch Tim the Tatman and watch, Nick Merckx and all these guys. They're amazing. And I'm like, why would I watch people play video games when I can just be playing them at that time? Like, if I'm going to spend time, I'm just going to play them. And he's like, well, you should watch them. They're entertaining. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then the way Facebook is, as a social media platform, they had brought gaming on. And so I was just scrolling my feed and people came up like playing Fortnite. 2 streamers. I still follow them to this day, Pool Shark and Darkness. And they were I started watching them and I'm like, okay, they're kind of funny. Their interaction was really funny. And each day I'd go back, I'm like, what are they going to say today? So each day he would be like, what are you watching? I'm like, these guys are playing Fortnite and they're really funny. And he's like, okay. And then he started watching them too, right? So that was probably about a year before I started ever streaming. So by the time I got the PC, because he's like, well, you can learn it. As soon as I got it, both him and my son are like, you should start streaming. I'm like, for one, I'm learning mouse and keyboard. And 2, who's going to watch an old lady play video games? And he's like, well, then what do you have to worry about if no one's going to be watching? I'm like, oh.
Little
let's
reverse
try.
psychology
I love
there.
that.
Smart kid.
Dang
Yeah,
it.
really smart.
And
kid.
so
That was me.
Oh, it was you.
No, it was him.
Yeah.
I think I was two months
Smart
into
kid.
learning mouse and keyboard when I started streaming.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I wasn't very good. And I started on Apex. And like I went back just recently and watched my first stream. It was 30 minutes. And I didn't have audio because I didn't have it all set up right. But I learned everything by watching YouTube videos. Like no one showed me how to set anything up. I just had to watch YouTube videos and try to set up all the stuff myself. Excuse me. And so I did that one stream and it was terrible, like no sound. And I was like 2 months. I waited 2 whole weeks before I went live again. But then after that, I would do it I was doing like 3 times a week because I was watching my granddaughter 2 days a week because our daughter was a teacher. And things just kind of took off because that was October 2019. And it was growing pretty good before then, but then COVID hit and it grew exponentially then with so many people at home, kind of alone. And my goal was to create a space where it was just a safe place for anybody. It didn't matter where they came from, right?
Yeah.
What their culture was, what their ethnicity was, what they identified as. Like, I was just going to be a safe place where anybody can come and no one's going to harass anybody in this chat. We're going to talk politics. We don't talk religion. For one, the platforms don't like it. For two, I just needed a place where I could just love on people.
Yeah.
And just be a place where they could be and hang out. And I think through COVID, so many people were alone and isolated. I mean, our daughter was isolated. We were able to fly her here, so she wasn't, right? If you lived alone, you were alone for a lot of that. So just being a place where they could come hang out and chat with each other, and they bonded. People in chat bonded with each other. I think it just grew so much then.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Because the thing about, watching streamers, it's like when you love something so much, you want to go down every avenue to see where that leads you, right? Where it's like you're going to listen to a podcast about it, or you're going to watch people play it and look at the joy that they have doing it and being funny and all that. I love that you contribute to that, especially during a time that's like, there needs to be a little bit more light in the world,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's interesting to me. Somebody used this analogy to me the other day that I think for the first time in my life it registered watching streamers, because you're the only streamer that I watch. And that was since I met you, right? Actually, it was the day I met you. It was the first time I watched. It was the day we went out for dinner.
He's like, check this out.
Yeah.
What?
An old lady that plays video games.
But somebody mentioned to me the other day at that time in conversation, well, when you used to go to the arcade, everybody would huddle around and watch somebody play a video game at the arcade.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And this is kind of that modern day thing, right? I mean, I remember going to the arcade and watching my buddy Andy just destroy people.
Yeah,
that's right.
Slap down your quarter and be like, I'm the next one to play.
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, that's actually to that point. We kind of have a story, an origin story from that in the mall here locally, the GameStop that's in the mall.
Yeah,
we were walking past it, and at the time, what was the SX Tricky? Was the snowboarding game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so you could make your character do tricks and stuff. And we'd had it for maybe a week, and she'd played it like just
I mean, the kids went to school.
a ton, So my son
do
had
something.
come home just that day,
Probably should've cleaned the
and
house.
she was showing my son all the tricks she had learned. So we're walking through the mall, and they were, there was kids playing SX Tricky on the TV in the GameStop.
Yeah.
And so my son goes, Mom, we should go show him what you can do with that game. So he went in and basically got her name in for the next one to do the game. And she got the controller, and she started doing tricks that none of them had ever seen. And, within a couple minutes, a large crowd of kids had surrounded
And I was just like
her.
playing. I'm like,
and
see
the
it.
kids in the back by me were like, it's his mom,
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Yeah, that's my mom. So little do we know that was a precursor to where we are
Truly,
today.
like even back then, it was like, see, this is something, right? I love that.
And you were just tactical mama at that point.
Tactical
Yeah, that's
mama.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
would've been
was the one where
stoked.
he'd be like, Mom, beat this level for me. I can't get it.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right, I'll beat it for you.
And that forever stunted Caleb's growth.
Yeah. No, he got good. And actually, so kind of in the beginning of streaming, once COVID hit, he worked for Baron Heating. He worked for servicing furnaces. Well, he couldn't go to houses, right?
Yeah.
So he was home, not working. So in the beginning, he would stream with me. He wasn't streaming, but he would play with me while I was streaming.
Yeah.
So that was a
fun.
lot of fun,
That's
too.
amazing.
I know.
Now, you were talking about how COVID was really hard for people, depression and a lot of isolation. And that's kind of when maybe, did you discover more of a purpose? You started to have, you had one young lady come on your
Yeah.
chat. Tell us a little bit about that.
So she, I'm trying to remember this. There's so many, there's a couple stories. But there was one that came on that said, I think she messaged me first, because some people are careful what they put in chat, right? But that she was having a really hard time, and she was going to that day. I always say unalive yourself, because when you're streaming, you can't say kill yourself, because you'll get it's TOS, right? So she was going to self-harm herself because she was just so depressed. And then she came on, and we were just hanging out and having a good time. People, and she was talking. Well, it took her a little bit. I think it took her a little bit to warm up, but she saw how everybody was just kind of there for everybody. People were checking on other people in chat, because they would come every day, right? And so she came and watched that, and the next day she came back again, and the next day she came back again, and finally she's like, she had let me know that she was going to hurt herself, but coming into the stream, kind of just brought her out of that. It made her feel like, there are people that care about me, even if they're just online, because people would check on each other and check on her. And so
there was a point where she specifically told this person that I'll be here every day.
Yeah.
I'm streaming every day. I'll be here and you can hang out with us.
Yeah.
So you're not alone. You're here with us. And then, like she said, the people within her community that are in chat, they jumped in and they're like, we're here too.
To be that constant. I love that.
And I always make sure I had I had it. I don't have that command now. I need it now. I have to fix that. I have the command, the 800 hotline number.
Okay.
For people. So
That's great.
if we start seeing that someone's saying something in chat, or it seems like someone might be, the mods can just type this exclamation, that number will come up, and we can be like, make sure you call for help. I do say a lot still. You need to talk to someone around you. You need to talk to someone. You need to call for help. You're not alone. Don't ever think you're alone. And my mods will be like, message me. I got you. They step in too. They bought into what we want for the community, and they're really caring. And because now with more people, it's hard for me to see all the comments.
For sure.
So we don't want them to like fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And so they've been really good about being like, oh, we saw message me, I got you, and my mod told me afterwards, we've had conversations. She's good now, so it's been
great.
nice.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's kind of when things started to turn for you a little bit in terms of notoriety, because that got picked up on some news channels or something, right?
Yeah. Good News Network.
Yeah, the Good News Network
was the first
picked it up.
I
And
follow them.
we didn't know they were like globally syndicated media organization. So they asked
like,
if they could write an article. And actually I had sent I made a little presser that just explained what was going on with this grandma. And I sent it out to a bunch of different news agencies. I guess I must have sent it to them, and I didn't even remember that. And when they reached out and said, can we do a story? We were like, sure. So they did the story, and little did we know, we actually found out that they were globally syndicated when people started coming into her chat and saying, like, one guy came in, I remember distinctly, he's like, this is Lars from Iceland.
Yeah.
And I read about her in the Icelandic news, and,
like,
and I was like, what, in Iceland?
Yeah.
And,
They have internet there?
So, and that's one of the interesting things about the live streaming medium is it's asynchronous. When you chat to that person, assuming they see the chat come through, they can talk directly to you. And we didn't understand that when our son said you should watch people stream games. We didn't get the whole medium. What's the big deal? Why is it so entertaining? It's entertaining for a lot of reasons, but that's one of the reasons is that you can actually communicate with the person you're watching, and it becomes a friendship, and we've become friends through that medium and a community. Yeah.
Well, and it can go both ways too, because it is like there's no face behind them. So they're either they find community, or they can be really toxic because they're like, you don't know, they hide behind that screen. And
Yeah,
so
that's
true.
It's
They can-
gone both ways.
I
They
think
can have
anyone who's
extra
played
bonus.
online games knows that's a big part of it.
For
Especially
sure.
Call of Duty.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I think one of the things I love most about your streams are when you do encounter toxic individuals, how you handle them.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I handle them nicely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a
She tries to show how you be kind, but you don't roll over and just take it.
For sure.
You stand up for yourself.
I think my
in a
thing is like,
kind
oh,
way.
did your mom not hug you this morning? I'll give you a hug.
That's
Yeah,
very
like
I
good.
love that because that turns that around.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
It's still
my
killing
mom
them with
didn't
kindness.
hug me.
You're like keeping burning coals on their head.
You know.
Turn it.
Do you have any? Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, there's one story where a guy came in and he was trolling and being really
in chat,
nasty.
yeah.
And she said, hey, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you're having a hard day, but that isn't kind.
Yeah.
Are you just having a rough day?
He's
And
like,
he's
"I
like,
am."
I am having a rough day. And she said, well, tell me what's going on. And that particular person, her moderators were saying, do we kick him out? And she's like, no, give him a chance. Let's see where he's going with this.
Yeah.
Good on
And
ya.
Yeah.
Good on
he
ya.
ended up
We
being
tried.
in chat
Yeah.
after that
Yeah.
for a long time. He changed dramatically. And she's like, well, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, but you're here now. And, you don't, you're not having a bad day now. You're in here with us.
It's
Wow.
it's like that. You can get attention both ways, whether
Yeah.
it's positive or it's negative, right? I'm always telling my kids, like, you want to do the positive. So
Right.
ask me, hey, Dad, I need you for a second. I want some one-on-one time. And like that's exactly what that guy was kind of
It's
doing.
a big
you know?
deal.
Yeah.
American Grindstone is brought to you by Travax, the ultimate gear for the modern adventurer. Whether you're hitting the trails, exploring the city, or just navigating everyday life, Travax has you covered. Here is the Contour. It's my own personal everyday carry. The Contour is Travax's sleek and durable wallet that is designed to be your EDC companion. Made from top grain leather and precision engineered metal, the Contour not only looks great, but is built to withstand whatever life throws at you. But that's not all. Travax also offers a wide range of rugged belts, their skeletonized field knife, and the ever-popular OG 2.0, as well as other essentials that blend form and function seamlessly. Elevate your everyday carry with Travax, where style meets durability. Travax, earn your story.
So we were talking about the young lady that you helped, and then the guy in Iceland, and how that story went global. But then you started having news outlets come here, right?
Yeah, I did it. Was it NBC?
Yeah, NBC News
NBC
came to
News.
the house.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Were
and
they,
then-
I thought were they the ones that came?
yeah, they came to the house, and then
What's his
USA
name?
Today.
What's the guy's name? That
Chris Cashman.
Chris Cashman.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he
Chris
came.
Cashman, who's from basically Seattle
Yeah.
royalty,
Yeah.
right?
His dad
'Cause-
was a news guy.
Yeah, his dad, Pat Cashman, I believe,
Okay.
is like super famous radio, TV
Yeah.
icon
Yeah.
in Seattle. So Chris is the nicest human being ever, and we really loved having Chris. But yeah, he came to the house pretty
During
much-
COVID.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right at the
We
end.
did it outside.
like-
'Cause
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah,
How
yeah.
awesome.
Fine
Yeah,
with
that
it
was
being
super
inside.
cool. Then USA Today picked it up, and then pretty much every gaming media org picked it up,
Yeah.
and then it was off and running.
I saw it in
Exploded
the
from
Wall
there.
Street Journal.
Wait,
I think I saw an article in the Wall Street Journal, maybe in the New York Times.
New York
recently?
Times.
No, but from that time.
Because there's supposed to be one coming
Yeah.
up. And I'm supposed to be actually in the AARP magazine too.
Oh, really?
I have an article coming out in AARP. They've done it. They just don't know what article, which
Yeah.
edition
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
in.
So the
amazing.
Wall Street Journal did just interview her
Again,
maybe 5 months ago.
Okay.
Then the AARP reached out and they said, could we possibly interview her? We've got 38 million subscribers.
Oh,
And we're
Okay.
like, yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
We don't know how many of them are gaming, but it is a growing demographic actually
Yeah.
in gaming.
That's
That's
huge.
that's what actually led them to want to do this
Yep.
interview, is that they had just done an article on the growth of gaming within seniors.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so they wanted to write about a
And that's
senior
what the Wall
that's
Street
doing
Journal
this.
one recently was senior influencers.
That's right.
Okay.
That's so cool.
That's amazing. You're on the.
I don't think of myself as an influencer, but
You're on the cover of a magazine
As we
as
pull
well.
this
Yeah.
out, as we're gonna pull
Yeah.
this out,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
Gamer
Magazine.
magazine.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Did you ever think you would see yourself on a
No.
magazine cover?
No.
Now, here's the thing that's interesting to me, and I want to get a little bit more into your meteoric rise. But the thing that's really interesting to me is you're a mom, a grandma, a bus driver for a season,
Yep. Taco Bell manager.
Taco Bell manager.
Hey.
Amazing.
5-layer burritos.
Did you ever think, in my late 50s, I'm going to be a professional gamer
Yeah.
with
No.
millions of people watching me?
No.
She
Never.
couldn't have
I
thought
mean,
that.
I never thought, even when I started, I never thought anybody would watch, right? And it still kind of floors me that people are in there watching. I'm like, dang, I better do good because you guys are in here. But
Yeah.
really, because there's different kinds of content creators, right? There's the guys who are like super cracked at the game and they, get tons of kills a game, and that's what people are there for. And they don't talk to their chat as much. But that's what people want to see, is that gameplay. And then there's people that are more entertaining and welcoming, and that's where I fall in. We're just a place where, I'm not that great at the game, but I do decent.
You
and-
destroy people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
was gonna say, I've
I'm
seen
not
the
like these
videos.
guys,
You
right?
can't
So
hide it.
I'm like right here. But I think it's kind of relatable to people too, because they're like, well, I mean, I could maybe try to do that. And I've had a lot of people start playing video games that never played video games
Yeah.
because they watched me.
Yeah, we've heard lots of inspirational stories.
Especially a lot of females.
Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah.
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 And they're like, wow, but I'm actually even kind of getting the courage, maybe even talk in these lobbies because
Yeah.
they hear
Wow.
it too, right? It's not fun being I mean, they hear your voice sometimes and they just start calling you horrible things.
That's
I
terrible.
saw. There's a lot of highlights of you destroying people that are being
Yeah.
horrible to you.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah.
The
the
best.
internet is littered with them, and it is very entertaining. So when you are in those situations, like, are there any that stand out to you? Like, this was a really fun one for me to dominate.
Not really. See, I have such a bad memory, so I don't remember.
I
them
can
all,
help
but
you. I can help you.
I
because
love it.
He's my memory.
There is one.
Momager
There is
win.
one where the guy, called her some nasty names and said, "Go make me a sandwich." And
I'll be basically a prostitute. But
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. He said some choice words, and like immediately, as soon as he could communicate with her, because they have something called prox chat in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So when you get near enough to another team,
Oh, yeah,
you can now talk to them.
Yeah.
So as soon as she was in proximity to this team, this guy starts spouting off all this nasty stuff and says, "Go make me a sandwich,
Yeah.
B word." And so she jumps off her roof onto his and just annihilates him and says, "Eat my sandwich, bro."
I saw that one.
That
I
is-
saw
oh,
that
yeah.
one.
It's so funny.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
just like, oh
I
my
love that.
gosh, we're
Yeah.
all dying
I
laughing.
totally saw that video.
It just came out.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of your little just came out, so have kind of become taglines, right? They
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
like your
Yeah, like forehead kisses.
forehead kisses.
And
forehead
Yeah.
kisses.
I don't hurt people. I just give them a little forehead
Tell us
kiss.
about that, because your grandkids were upstairs at the time, and this is where you adopted the forehead kiss.
Well, my office was below their bedroom, and so
Because your grandma just living in your kids' basement playing
That's
video
right.
games.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
And so my oldest, who she was probably 3 at the time, she started saying a couple things. She's very verbal, anyways, but she started saying like, "Kill him and kill him" and stuff. And we're like, sorry, Amanda.
She's getting that from her grandma.
Yeah.
Because like they're just trying to take a nap, and I'm
Yeah.
right below her, right? And
Yeah.
we hear things. So I started to try to curb what I was saying a little more, and that's why we built the studio out back, just to get me away from where they could hear me as easily.
But I like it because it's so unique too. Then you
Yeah.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
like it was a need, but now
Yeah.
it's like a part of
Yeah.
tactical.
Right.
Grandma.
It's just
I
a
think
little forehead
great.
kiss.
Yeah, just a
And then
forehead
I'll get
kiss
people
goodnight.
who come in chat and be like, "Oh, I'd take a forehead kiss from grandma any day." I mean, they're talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some weird ones, but these are not the weird ones.
Uh,
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Only imagine.
I'm even more curious now.
no,
Gilf.
there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I love my favorite is when you tell someone you're like, "Get wrecked, nerd."
Yeah.
That's like my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Whenever you drop it, I feel like I want to play like a drinking game or something, right? I don't drink like,
Every
in that
time I
way.
say it.
Every time you say it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's so great."
The funny thing is too, just in real life, because of being in this industry and the people I play with, so I keep a PG stream. I don't swear. I've said a few here and there, but I try really hard.
Yeah.
I'm not a swear anyways. But then like I'm in this industry and the people I'm playing with, they know I'm PG, so they try really, really hard. But I started, but they slip up. But they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, I'm like, "It's fine, really. It doesn't offend me. I just try to keep it PG for
Yeah.
because a lot of people have their kids in my chat,
Yeah.
5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the game's not PG, and they're like, "But the game's not PG." I'm like, I understand that, but I'm gonna keep the conversation PG-13.
Because you
Or
can
like-
still be an example.
right,
No, I like
exactly.
that
Yeah,
too,
that's
you know?
right.
But because of it, it's like there's all these conversations I have with other teams. I say "bro" all the time now, and I say it in real life. I've been around my friends at church, and like at least one of them knows, and I'm like, "Bro," and she's like, "Sorry, I said bro."
This is a new development.
Bro,
now?
yes, I was not a bro. I say bro, and I say,
You never
Oh.
said that before streaming.
but there's
and now
something
you
else
say
I
it.
say. I can't remember, but it's just unique to streaming. But I just
You
say
hear
it.
it all the time, right?
Yeah, and then somebody gave her a hard time in game. He's like, "Why do you keep saying bro?" And she goes, "I don't know, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it though, bro."
I just kept saying it.
Problem, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I got you, bro.
That's so
Yeah.
That's
funny.
amazing.
Now-
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
As a gamer myself, and I've played Call of Duty a ton, I never really progress. How does one become better at the game?
I would say just playing a lot. Really,
Okay,
you just
okay.
gotta be willing to be bad
Yes.
to get good. And
Okay.
So I think I'm on this weird curve thing because it's like because they change the game each year, right? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of here, and then I kind of get good, and then they put a new game out. I'm like, oh, I'm starting here again, and then
Yeah.
kind of but it's just playing a lot,
And you have
just-
to learn the maps again.
learn
and you
the
have
maps
to learn,
and-
hiding
and actually
yourself.
having friends and stuff that you can actually communicate with when if you're playing like Battle Royale. It's super helpful because if you try to go in with randoms and they don't talk, it's just not fun at all.
There's a few other things too. I mean, she gets asked this a ton in.
A lot of people do aim trainer and stuff. I don't do
imagine.
aim trainer, guys. Here's the thing. I was a soccer player.
Yeah.
I grew up. I played till I was 39, herniated disc in my neck. I was a goalie. But I hated practice my whole life. I only like the games. And it's the same thing with video games. I don't want to practice. I just want to play. But I want to compete at a good high level, but I don't want to practice.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think people ask her that because they're seeing a grandma who's cracked at the game. And
That's
so they're like,
amazing.
so if she learned how to do this, maybe she can help guys like us who play and play and play, and we don't seem to like necessarily get better. But she does a lot of things that do make a difference. Like for example, the settings that you can do both with your graphics, settings you can do with your mouse and keyboard in her case, or with your controller in our case.
Like response times and things like
Yeah,
that?
all those things matter, you know. So she's
Speaking of that works for you, because what works for one
right.
person doesn't necessarily work for you.
Yes. Yep. That
and
makes sense.
she's within a community of other pretty much professional players.
Mm-hmm.
So they share that knowledge back and forth. And so every time there's a new game, there's a new learning curve for everybody. So everybody's figuring those things out.
Yeah.
So people will ask her, you know, because sniping is something that she's always been known for. And they're like,
so
how do
good at it.
you see somebody all the way across the map? I can't even see that person. And so she'll share, well, there's graphic settings that do help you see further. So that's one, of course, the monitor quality, and there's other
Being on
things.
PC and more frame rate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So she
and then
tries to help.
headsets as well, right? To be able to hear,
To hear
people
them.
around you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
I use actually in-ears.
Do you
I use 64 audios. I use what I play my bass with.
Oh, so you're loving it.
Yeah, she uses high
You were
high
so
end
immersed.
ears. Yeah.
They're in there.
Yeah.
They're like form fitted. They're
Yeah.
I love that.
She's wearing them right now underneath her.
I should have brought them.
That would have been perfect.
So yeah, I've always seen all these people how they get good at it. I've always just wondered if it was just that repetitive play
Yeah.
or the changing of the response times or what have
Right.
you, or getting
Because I
to know the
wasn't good
map.
at first. Like I go back and watch my first streams and
Yeah.
I'm like him. And sorry. I'm like him.
Wait, what?
No, it's like when you're first
This is
learning,
for
like in a
every
battle
dog.
royale, right? You're walking around, you're opening the box, you're looking at this guy, and you're looking at that guy, and you're kind of, let's go over here. And now it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I
You just get
definitely
used to it.
I'm slower within the game.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, as much as she plays, tactics are a big part of being good at the game. And she has the tactics, you know, dialed in.
I don't think I have the tactics. I follow my teammates because they have the tactics, and
So-
I just talk to chat, and I just keep an eye on where my team is, and I just follow them. I don't really.
Well,
think about
I can't even do
tactics.
that. So I would play with her, you know, and she's been streaming, and I don't do that. And all of a sudden, I would jump in to get a game or two with her, and I'm still like where we've landed.
Like, where are you?
And I'm opening things and looking at things, and they're on the other side of the map, and they're like, "What are you doing?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, where'd you guys go?" Like, I'm just not on the same page at all.
I'm that
So
way too. I'm
it's-
like, oh, the graphics are amazing.
yeah. I'm literally exploring different doorways and stuff, and so
Yeah,
you know.
watching you operate in the game. And again, I'm not a gamer,
It's wild.
but I appreciate, I mean, the movement, you know, through the games. When I see you get on those cash boxes, grab boxes, what do you call them?
Yeah.
When I see you jump, like, and how quick you pick stuff up and you're offloading other stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an insane.
And I wasn't like that at
Speed.
first. Like
Yeah,
it
That's
just,
right. That
you
just
just
comes
get
from
used
playing
to
all
it.
the
Yeah.
time.
Getting used to that.
Yeah.
How close you can be so you can pick something
Because
up
I tried,
kind of
like,
thing.
I'm new to Fortnite and I'm slow at Fortnite. I'm like, wait, what do I need? Wait, where's
Yeah.
the, you know, what? How do I change weapons to get to the weapon I want? How do I jump shoot the people that are close to me like they're doing?
Yeah.
I die so much.
But I will say one thing though that people should know: she has incredible eye-hand coordination.
Yeah.
Always has. She was
It's slower.
She was an extraordinary athlete, and so those things translate into her video gaming.
For sure.
So you know, there's some natural ability that fits in on top of everything else we're
Absolutely.
talking about. That you got it or you don't, kind of a thing. So
The response time in those games is everything. Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm slower. Like, a lot of people are like, why don't you play tournaments? And I've played a couple, but like, I'm just not. I'm definitely slower. I'm not at that level as them, and I think the game a little slower as I get older.
Yeah.
Even from 4 years ago to now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just not gonna do tournaments. I did one recently because they want me to do this one, and it's like, they were all so sweet. It was all women tournament, I got 1 kill the whole tournament. And my teammate was great, but the other girls, I saw them. I went to COD Next, and I saw them. They're like, "You did great. You know, you should just play more." They were all really supportive, but I was like, "I'm just a liability. I'm just a liability here." So
You know what missions to sign up for.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm here to create content, have a good time, and raise money for charity.
Create a great space. I love that. That's the best part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Now you went like TikTok viral a few years ago. That kind of really
Yeah.
changed the platform for you a little bit. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about that. That was a unique day here in Washington.
Yeah.
Also, right?
Yeah, I never wanted to be on TikTok. I never wanted TikTok. I don't even think I had TikTok at that point.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't want another social media platform. I don't want to manage a whole nother platform. And him and my son were like, we think you need to be on TikTok. Excuse me. Sorry. I had
good.
onions before I came.
it's all good.
So like, we think you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't want to be on TikTok. I don't want to manage it. And he's like, well, I'll load the stuff. I'm like, fine. If you're going to do it, fine. Then you do it. And you just take my videos and he would just have me record my whole stream, and he would go through and find the stuff. I didn't have to do clips. It was great.
Yeah.
And he would listen while he was working, so he kind of knew where things were, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he did a really good job of making good clips, I have to admit. And his editing got even better and better as it went, because that's a whole
Had a lot
thing
to
on
learn,
its
that's
own,
for
right?
sure.
It's a long,
But yeah, so we had the TikTok going a couple days, like a couple weeks before this, or a month or two maybe.
We had been loading some TikToks.
Yeah.
And I had the awesome one. You always think the next one's the awesome one. If anybody does social media,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like.
And what you think's awesome doesn't usually
Yeah, and
go.
then
What you
you'll
think's
have-
stupid goes.
That's
Yeah,
what's crazy.
that is what's
Yeah, I could
crazy.
spend 9 hours editing one TikTok and put it on with great expectations, and it does nothing.
Yeah.
And I could just grab one, 30 seconds, just quick, throw it on.
And that's the big hit.
Yeah.
So, but this one I had worked hard on, and
Yeah,
it was ready to go. I was going to post it the next morning, and then woke up that morning, and
No power.
we had no internet.
No internet.
No internet and no cell reception.
Oh, that's right. Internet and cell.
Yeah, no
we had
internet and
power,
cell.
but no internet and cell, which was weird. But I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Our
it
communications
was
are down.
pretty creepy because neither did we. We didn't have any, and neither did our kids that
Yeah.
live upstairs.
Yeah.
Didn't have any either. So we
The
went.
whole Northwest Washington was out.
Yeah,
and
I
that's the
remember that.
case.
I
Yeah,
remember
we
that.
went for a drive and we stopped at a Starbucks, and a lady was walking out looking at her phone, and I said, "Do you have?" She's like, "No, there's no one in there has cell service or internet." And I was like, "Okay, this is the end of the world as we know it."
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
pretty
Mad Max
sure.
that
I was like,
night.
yeah,
Northwest
right?
Washington.
It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
I'm like, grab the go,
Conspiracy
kid.
theory there.
Let's head for the bunker. No,
Let's go, Furiosa. Let's
preppers.
go.
We're ready. Where's my prepper friends at?
Yeah.
But no, so we stopped by the local hotel just to check one more spot. And as soon as we pulled in front, I got out and my phone went off because I connected to the internet in the hotel.
Wow.
I happened to be a premium member of that hotel. So it was a premium benefit. But yeah, so I come back out. I'm like, hey, they have internet here. It turns out a fiber optic cable main trunk was cut north of Seattle. So
It was
like the whole
AT&T and
Northwest.
CenturyLink and all
Yeah,
that.
knocked
I
out
never
all
knew.
these
I never
services.
knew. I just remember that day being like, how bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people were probably like
Conspiracy.
grateful, right?
Yeah,
'Cause all of a sudden,
exactly.
I truly.
you don't have to do all these things potentially
Because it was
work.
during COVID.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
during COVID.
Yeah.
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 So
a lot of stuff going on
Yeah.
around then. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
A
like,
lot of-
what's happening?
I tell her, just sit in the car. I'm going to run in and
They don't want us
post
to know the
this
truth.
TikTok.
No, I'm kidding.
Hiding it.
She's like, I don't want to wait in the car. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, please, just wait in the car. So I ran in, I post this TikTok, I jump back in the car, and we go home. And from that moment on, it was about 9 more hours of no internet and no cell service. So our phones are in the house. You know, we're not even using them because we can't.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the phone on the counter starts going zzz, 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 zzz,
Crazy.
and hers is going, mine is going. I'm like, oh, what is
it?
happening?
We got all these messages. or
Walk
something.
over and pick it up. And I think by that time, I want to say it was like 9 hours later, I think it was 200,000 followers.
Holy cow.
And
But
we're
we had
like,
200,000 views or something.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, the views were off the,
Crazy.
and yeah, it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And the followers kept growing and growing off one viral video, which I think ended up around 12 million views in the end.
Yeah.
And
Too bad I wasn't in the monetization program. And
Yeah.
now
I know.
I would have made a lot of money.
So it's a fun story to tell because there's a little bit of perseverance in there, you know.
Yeah,
where
well, and everyone's got a little social media too, so they know like getting views. So to get like 12 million, I mean,
It was-
everyone knows that's insanity.
yeah, it was crazy.
And this is before I was in any kind of monetization on the platform.
Yeah.
So it was just views. It didn't-
That's
Yep.
nuts.
Wow.
That's nuts. That
Sad.
doesn't happen. You know.
Yeah, that clip got picked up by like House of Highlights and oh man, every other sort of social media company out there scooped that. That's the one that launched it right
Wow.
there. So who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Now you've been doing this professionally for 4 years. You have favorite guns per game?
I like to snipe
Yeah.
personally, but this last whole year, sniping hasn't been good. They purposely made it not one-shot snipers, so
Oh wow.
they just weren't. It wasn't as fun to snipe. I still could do it, and especially like in the resurgence modes, because it's like BR is like you're usually a lot further away. Resurgence, you're a little closer.
Yeah.
So the snipers worked a little better in that mid range.
Yeah.
So I still got some good shots, but I prefer to snipe, and because I'm not as good close range because of the reflexes, right? And everybody's gonna probably dog me on this because the aim assist on controller.
Yeah.
Because especially close range, there's like this rotational aim assist that it does help. Even people who are on controller that are pros are like, yeah, it's a little OP.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to snipe. But then I started figuring out like a SMG that was a hip fire. Because if I ADS, I can't track them. I can't stay with them when they move fast. But if I can hip fire and just kind of, I can do a little better. So those two are my favorite now.
Those are your go-tos now.
Yeah. So right now, I don't know, Modern Warfare 3, the newest one, sniping's still kind of, I mean, it is one shot, but they're slow ADS, so the quick scope, unless you use this other one, but it's kind of only mid-range. I'm hoping there's a new sniper coming out when Warzone comes out
You hoping?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we're hoping it's good. I think it's supposed to be good because my friend got to go play it last week, and I think it might be good.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Yeah. When did the new one come out?
The multiplayer came out like a month ago, and then Warzone comes out next Wednesday.
Oh man.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, this Wednesday.
2
After
days.
tomorrow.
Crazy.
I'll be playing a long time on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After my chiropractor, I'll be back on.
Yeah.
How long do you
stoked.
stream for?
So usually I only did like 4 to 6 hours. There's been a few days recently I've done like 11 hours.
Holy buckets.
But it's not. It's just because I was having fun, right? So I did like Warzone
that's
in the
awesome.
morning, and then I have my friend Steffi, who does Search and Destroy, which that's kind of slows things down a little bit because if you're familiar with Search and Destroy, it's like 6v6. You know, if you die, you're out to the next round.
Yeah.
So it gives me time to kind of just not have to think, and then I can talk to chat, and it just that we were just having fun playing, and we just kept playing. So that's why we went.
At least
So-
it's out of joy that
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
going to say, one
No.
of the reasons why we told her she should stream is
Yeah.
she just passionately loves playing.
I love that.
So where I could not play for that long, let's just say for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I play for maybe a couple hours and I reach my limit.
Yeah.
And I got to do, something else. She actually enjoys playing for that long, not maybe that long all the time, but
There's
she
a-
only plays because she enjoys it. So
Which is great.
There's a new game out. I don't know if you've seen people playing. It's called Lethal Company.
I've heard of it.
It's just an indie game, $10 indie game. I guess it was outselling Call of Duty like last week.
Really?
But it's like you go in, and so my friend there's mods for it. So normally it's only 4 people. We had 12. So you get the mods, you can have more people in your ship, and you go and you loot these places and try not to die to like creatures and create scary things. But scary that I can do, like it's not like paranormal scary. It's a little different. And anyway, there's just these shenanigans because you got like 12 streamers in a thing, and you only use your proximity chat in it, and it's just so fun, and you get lost in that for like a long time. It's kind of fun to create a little different content
yeah.
away from just shooters, right?
Yeah.
There's no shooters. I mean, you're just running from this thing. You have a shovel sometimes, but I had a stop sign and I couldn't kill the bug that was killing me. I died.
it's funny content.
And then
for
you're
sure.
dead, and all you that are dead can only hear each other while they finish and then get you into orbit, and then you're alive again.
So you
Oh,
speak
that's a
you
cool-
speak to each other in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You
prog,
go to the afterlife.
yeah.
And that was out beating Call of Duty?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just
I gotta
because some
check that
people just
out.
wanted some different content, right?
Yeah.
And if you have friends to play it with,
Yeah.
it's just it'll be good.
Yeah, there's a clip on her TikTok. You could
Yeah.
I'm
you
gonna
could
check
see
it
why
out.
it's so funny
Oh,
and
my
fun.
friend.
I heard the name of it, but I've not seen what that game's all about
Yeah.
yet. So I'll go check that out.
It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
fun.
So you're in your kid's basement streaming,
Yeah.
and now you're guests at Call of Duty premieres and TwitchCon, and you have your own conference, Loot Fest, coming up, and a convention coming up. Tell me, like, what is that like? I mean, tell us about maybe the first big event that you went to and how that.
I think the first thing is we got invited to come to the premiere of Vanguard. It was like we had to pay our own way. This wasn't something they flew us out to, but we were invited to come to it. And it was our anniversary, and we love video games, and we've always played COD. So we're like, let's just go do it. Let's go to LA. Let's go to the premiere. So that was kind of fun, and T-Pain performed, and he was standing next to me. It was kind of neat.
That was fun, yeah.
There's the Migos performed. It was really fun.
It's amazing.
So, but I mean, I wasn't like one of their creators I brought in, but they invited us, and so that was really cool. But then the next year, when the new COD came out, was it the next year? Yeah. So they invited me to. They call it COD Next. So they flew 200 creators out to all stream the new game together, like.
Wow.
And you're all only playing against each other, right? Because it's well before it comes out. So that was the first big thing. And I was like, wow, I mean, because in this industry, being the age I am, it's been hard to be taken seriously with brands. I've had a couple that have been wonderful.
Yeah.
But others, we've tried to kind of breach it. And I think they think my demographics are old people when my demographics are just the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
It's 18 to 34, right? So being asked to come by Call of Duty really felt awesome, and I've had conversations with the she'd be the influencer manager or that's not really, but she's like the creator manager, like the go between. I forget what the word is called now. Anyways, just had conversations with her. I was like, thank you so much, for including me because it has been hard in this industry. And she's like, no, you're amazing. Like we love having you, and so just someone giving me a chance has been nice because it's really hard in this. Yeah. I think it's hard anyways as a creator, but then to be so different than everybody else, which should be a positive. But
I would say that would be lead to your success, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
But I think for brands, they're like,
there's two sides to that coin.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because she's popular because she's got that unicorn impact, but then also they're not sure how do we work with a grandma, like they don't realize she's so hardworking, and she does amazing on her promotions, and as a brand partner she's out of this world, and the ones that work with us have found that out.
And I think even content creators in the beginning, like trying to play with other people, they weren't quite kind of sure, right? Because I'm not their generation. I am the generation. I mean, everybody's like, everybody, I know that your age says video games are a waste of time, says this and that, but yet you're here playing them, so kind of trying to bridge those gaps, but then getting to go to these places, getting to go to TwitchCon and different things like that. And like we go hang out with them till pretty late at night.
Yeah.
And stay out later than most of them, right? And they're like, okay, well you're not what we thought, right? But we just
there's stories for another
another time. For another podcast after dark.
I have definitely heard a lot of the stories in Sean and my one-on-ones.
Yeah, he told you the TwitchCon one, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, what I love about what you guys do is because of your because your parents, because of your background working with kids and ministry, because of just the stage of life. I've seen time and time again you challenge people to do something of great value with the influence that they have, and that comes from you valuing other people. I mean, the first time that Sean and I had lunch, I'm like crying by like minute 15.
It makes me cry all the time too.
Yeah, he's so mean.
Ryan, I will not make you cry.
I took it the kind
No,
way.
it's
They're like,
okay.
he's so mean. I was like, this guy's a sweetheart. Look at him.
But I think that's very much a voice needed in this industry, and the people that you are building relationships with, the stories I've heard about the content creators, and just the voice you've got to have in their lives. I think it's an incredible opportunity, and I'm just enjoying the heck. I'm your biggest fan of the last 2 months.
Oh, thanks. Yay.
We've talked about you guys a lot. We both really.
He's like,
truly
oh
have.
my gosh, not them again.
No, I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
And it's funny because I tell people about you all the time, and I just send them YouTube clips. I send them, TikTok clips. I have my cache of Tat Gramma stuff. So when I talk with you, they're like, wait, what? It's pretty funny. But then like everybody under 35 knows exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And they're all blown away that you live in Northwest Washington.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, as was I. I was like, this is insane. Who else lives in Washington State?
That part of it was insane for us, especially for her, of course. Being, recognized was something that we had to learn how to do.
I was in Costco. Hey, are you that TikTok? Are you that gaming granny? Are you that gaming granny? I'm like, yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I have bad people. We've seen them from afar, but like if they've been really sweet and respectful. If I've been out with our family and the grandkids, you see them looking, but they won't say anything because I'm with my grandkids, which I think is pretty sweet. Like we were at the Froyo place.
Menchie's.
Yeah. And they were like,
yeah. Well,
hi.
Yeah,
I was like, hi, how are you? I mean, because I'm only where I am because people watch me. So if I'm not approachable, if I'm not, I don't know.
No,
but
I agree with that.
But I
If you
like
have
that they were
community
respectful.
Online,
Yeah.
to have that community out in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there was more because my grandkids were with me.
Yeah.
And I think they were just trying to be respectful because my grandkids were with me.
You ever like snipe them when they see you? You
Yeah.
go,
That'd be good. That'd be super good.
I would like to say that I'm really proud of her.
yeah.
On this particular thing specifically, because it was
I'm an
uncomfortable
introvert.
for her. She's an introvert, and people. So far, 100% of the interactions have been positive.
Wow.
Every one of them. So that's awesome. But people coming up and saying I'm a huge fan, or whatever, and she always makes them feel just as special as they thought she was. And I just to see that, she's like, well, where are you from? And well, what games do you play? And she started asking them about themselves, and she genuinely cares. And that's just either real or someone doesn't have it, and that's how she is. So she makes every person that comes up to her also feel special and seen, and that's a unique
I'm
gift.
only where I'm at because they care enough to watch.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've spent a lot of time with your husband and your son-in-law.
Yeah.
Who scored there. He's a great guy.
He is.
Both of them are great guys. And that's the vibe that they give off as well. I mean, I think it's the legacy that you two have created together. And it's neat that you've been given this platform where you get to do that in a world that it's unrecognizable, right? I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
We were talking about brand partnerships a little earlier. This podcast is sponsored by Travax.
Yeah.
And we are going to be launching here by the time this episode goes live, this will be available.
Nice.
It's our first Tactical Gramma wallet, and we're going to launch a whole Tactical Gramma line this fall, which I know you're very nervous about, but I am not.
I know.
I'm very excited. This thing is so cool. Your son-in-law designed it.
He did. He did my logo from the beginning.
It's amazing.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm due to get some Tactical Gramma swag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
But this wallet is going to replace the one that I have for my business because I just think
Aw.
it's the coolest. And we got some really cool stuff coming out with you. But before Christmas, this will be available to everybody
Nice.
when this podcast drops. So we're really excited about that.
I love mine. I have the earlier prototype of that, but it's just so nice because I've never been one to want to carry a purse.
Yeah.
So like I hate carrying a purse, and I only did it when my
Me
kids were
too.
younger because I need to put diapers in them and stuff. So, but so to be able to put something in my pocket because I used to just have my wallet. I mean, I used to have my card and my license and I've pulled my phone out and there goes my license or there goes my card. So I've been using the prototype one. The last trip we went on and stuff too. It was so nice. And one time I didn't even have pockets, so I actually clipped it on the inside of my pants. So it's just like in the inside of my belt loop, but I didn't.
Smart.
I had all my stuff because they might card me when we go out. So
Yeah.
I look
When
young.
you're staying out late at midnight with those other guys.
Well, and with Travax, we're an EDC kind of tactical company.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to work with Tactical Grandma
Hey.
on some
Yeah.
everyday carry stuff. I think this is just the funnest thing. Like
Yeah.
we're sponsoring Loot Fest
Yeah.
coming up the end of February.
So that means you're coming.
I'm going to
That's
be
right.
there.
Are you coming too?
Hey, I'll come. Yeah, I didn't even know about
He's
this.
not
I'll be
coming.
there.
He's not
Wait,
coming.
whoa.
I can't tell.
Oh, okay.
This one is mine. No.
We booked our hotel today and
Nice.
got our flights set up.
Awesome.
And we are very excited
Awesome.
to
Yeah.
be there and be a part of it and see a whole new world,
Yeah.
right?
It's going
It's
to be
just
amazing.
This event is kind of nice because like TwitchCon stuff like that's huge, right? And so everybody's all spread out. But this event's geared more to around like the creators getting to be able to kind of hang out and talk with each other and their communities. So they come and it's more personable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun one.
Well, it's neat too, I think, because it breaks the stereotype of what a lot of people say gamers are. I mean, the owner of the company, when we first pitched him the idea, it was the 28-year-old single guy living in his parents' basement.
Yeah.
Nope, it's the old lady.
Not the 58-year-old
Yeah.
grandma living in her kid's basement.
Yeah.
No, but that was the stereotype.
Yeah.
But that's not the stereotype.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's
No,
60,
no.
over 60% of people between 18 and 35 game regularly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
absolutely.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an art form. I think personally, like
Yeah.
I think I like playing video games because it's gorgeous and to immerse yourself into a different world and be someone else and
Yep.
play that through. It's playing a role.
Yeah.
It's to me it's art.
Right.
And I just absolutely adore it. And I think it's getting more and more popular as an art form.
Well, here's the thing: is there's more gamers than you realize because like everybody has like smartphones now, right?
Yeah.
So I even tell other older people, I'm like, you play Candy Crush, you play these little games on your
Truth.
phone. You're a gamer.
Truth.
Yep.
You may
Yeah.
not be playing like a Call of Duty or something, but you're still a gamer. You enjoy
That's right.
Yeah.
these kinds of games
Yeah.
that entertain you.
All the way back
Wordle.
to PC Solitaire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I play a lot of that.
Yeah.
Could
But I
never
love
get
that because, I mean, you've played with pro athletes, you've played with musicians, you've played with people that don't fit the mold of what
Yeah.
an older generation deems a gamer.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's exciting, right? And
Yeah.
so what I love about working with Travax is I don't feel like it's outside of Travax's modus operandi in terms of the people that they work with, because a lot of those people that hike up in the mountains on the weekend
Yep.
are also playing games on their phone
Yeah.
while they're sitting on the toilet at the least, right?
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I want to, you and I are going to play
All right.
Pong.
All right.
And I thought it'd be a good way to end
Beat
the
him last
episode.
time we played it.
I know. You're going to beat me. I haven't played Pong since.
I'm going to
Very
put this on your
1972.
your side of the desk.
Yeah, well, the Tactical Grandma bobblehead is, I think that's what we should play for.
Okay.
Great idea. I love this, you guys.
I love that you have your own ball. You've arrived as an influencer, a celebrity, whatever, when people make you bobbleheads.
Oh yeah.
So the reason we have this is because a company approached us about doing a box, and I said I will only do it if all the proceeds went to St. Jude's. I didn't want to make anything off of it.
yeah.
So the whole box, all the proceeds went to St. Jude.
That's amazing.
So it's called a gamer box,
Yeah.
and
Love
it
it.
basically, comes with hundreds of dollars worth of collectible Tactical Grandma
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
like the bobblehead, the magazines in there, a whole bunch of super
Mouse
cool
pad,
stuff.
Cyrus design.
And so somebody pays
And then actually
very
goes
little
to
amount of money,
Yeah.
then they get this box with all this stuff, and it's all collectible, and then all the proceeds, go
Jude.
to St. Jude. So
It's incredible.
yeah,
That's
it's awesome.
I
Love
love this. And then you put these two together.
A fun fact. We had to take a picture to send to him, and I was holding RAR.
Yeah.
That's your AR.
That's her AR.
that's
yeah,
awesome.
That's amazing.
Isn't it cute?
Tactical Grandma guns in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guns
right.
and Roses.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Well, you guys are delightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you,
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thank
And
you.
I'm excited getting beat by you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
because that's
I- you
that
know,
is what's happening.
You never know.
You never know. My dexterity might have come back.
No,
Might
no,
have.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I haven't played it. I play video games. What am I saying? Not like, not like this.
Is
So
it
here we
bad
go.
if I'm rooting for you?
Please.
What?
Wow.
Let's get ponging.
I know.